My seatbelt is free of cuts and frays. Latches and unlatches properly. I'm now going to do a safe neutral start on the vehicle. Up above I have my accident report and spare fuses. My windshield is clean, clear, and unbroken. My side windows clean, clear, and unbroken. And my mirrors clean, clear, and unbroken and are adjusted to me. My dash is free of debris. My defrost and heater are working properly. Coming down to my gauges, my oil gauge is working properly. It is currently at 50 psi. My water temperature gauge is working properly, currently at 140 psi. My RPM gauge or tachometer is working properly at 700 at idle. My speedometer worked on the way to the test site. My fuel gauge is working properly. It is just under half a tank. My voltage meter is working properly. It's at 14 volts. My primary air tank or air 1 is working properly at 120 psi. My secondary air tank or air 2 is working properly at 120 psi. My four-way indicators are working properly. My left indicator is working properly. My right indicator is working properly. My low beam switch is working properly. My high beam is working properly, it's just dim. My windshield wipers are working properly. My windshield wiper washer fluid sprayers are working properly. Going out to the wheel, my wheel has no more than 10 degrees of free play or 2 inches. My city horn is working properly. My air horn is working properly. Would you like to hear it? Going down to the floor, starting on the left side, I have a fire extinguisher securely mounted. It's been serviced in the last 2 years and is fully charged. My pedals are not sticking. There's no debris that can get underneath my pedals. The floor is free of all debris. My shifter boot is free of cuts, frays, and is securely mounted. And I have 3 reflective triangles right here next to the passenger seat. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and perform a static brake check. I will go ahead and put the truck in a low forward moving gear, turn the truck off, back on to accessory, and release the parking brake. Low forward moving gear, truck off. I'll take my foot off the clutch. I'm going to turn it back on to accessory for my gauges and lights to be working. Wait for the gauges to settle. I'm going to go ahead and push the parking brake in. After the initial air loss, I am going to hold my foot on the brake for 1 minute. So after a minute's up, I did not lose more than 3 psi in under a minute. I will now start the bleed down test. I'm going to pump the brakes down to 60 psi to where my low air alarm and light are going to come on. My low air alarm and a light are working properly. At this time, I'm going to pump the brakes down to 20 to 40 psi to where my parking brake will re-engage. My parking brake is re-engaged. At this time, I'm going to perform a safe neutral start by putting the truck in neutral and turning the vehicle on. We're going to build air pressure back up to 120, 125 psi, and the governor is going to purge. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of RPMs to speed up that process. The governor is purged at 120 or 125 psi. And this time I'm going to perform a tug test. I'm going to put the truck in a low forward moving gear. I'm going to tug on the parking brake twice. Truck in a low forward moving gear, I'm going to release the clutch pedal slowly until I feel it grab. That's one. That's two. I'm going to put the truck back in neutral. My parking brake is working properly. At this time, I'm going to do a service brake test. I'm going to put the truck in a low forward moving gear, accelerate to no more than 5 miles an hour, and stop within 50 feet. I'll put the truck back into neutral. My service brakes are working properly, and the truck did not pull to either side. That's it.